Hey, good evening, everybody. Great to be here. Great to see everybody again. You know, when the BFA, Blue Federation of America, was created 50 years ago, the National Aeronautic Association was one of the groups that was kind of facilitating that and helping that along. I'm very proud of the work that you do and what you do for air sports in America. You know, to celebrate the 50th anniversary, we had a couple of things that we worked on together. Troy and I and some of your folks got together to create a most memorable record list of the hundreds and hundreds of balloon records that were set by your members over the years. The presentation didn't go off exactly how we planned today, but we're going to figure out a better way to get the information out to you, because it really was quite an extraordinary list of people and accomplishments. The other thing that we did is a letter I have here from the White House.
Who's there?
He's from Texas.
Let us be respectful, please. And I mean that sincerely. I send greetings to all those attending the Balloon Federation of America 2011 National Convention. Our nation's vast and varied outdoor spaces are a source of great pride, providing countless opportunities for exploration and excitement. Americans of every age, background, and ability cherish outdoor recreation as a way to improve their health and enjoy time with friends and family. By promoting safety and excellence and encouraging ingenuity in ballooning, organizations like the Balloon Federation of America enrich the lives of so many across the United States. As you celebrate your 50th anniversary, I wish you all the best. Signed, President Barack Obama.
Well, I want to thank everybody for being here. I think if you look around here, you see that the building is still strong, still full of a lot of life and a lot of enthusiasm. And I'm so happy that this convention has gone the way it has, thanks to the committee here in Iowa. They've done a tremendous job, and they deserve our applause. The other thing that I would like to do before we start with some of these awards is to have all the people that are notable balloonists. You saw a list of them coming up as you were sitting and conversing. But if everyone could stand up just that is a notable balloonist, because you may not even know who you're sitting next to. And this is history and ballooning. So all the notable balloonists, please stand up. Striving to do their best at all times. I also have one message here for happy birthday to Bob McKinley. And the BFA has a history of producing a lot of high quality pilots, a lot of adventurers, record setters, world champions, national champions. An amazing collection of pilots, and a big part of our mission is not to just promote this excellence, but to recognize this excellence. It's something that needs to be seen by everyone, because it raises the bar for everyone, not only in the United States but around the world. And I think we have exceeded the standards that most people would ever think we could, and abilities to what everyone thought we could do. So with that, I have a couple of awards that we wanted to talk about. We'll have some presentations, but there are a couple of awards. I just got back from the FAI CIA meeting in Tokyo this last month, and one of the highest award that the Federation Aeronautique International can bestow upon a balloonist is the Montgolfier diploma. We've had a strong track record of winning a lot of Montgolfier awards for the U.S. pilots have done through their achievements. And it's an award that doesn't have to be awarded. There has to be something significant. There has to be something that's worthy of that cause, or worthy of the diploma. And this year we were successful in a couple of candidates that came from the United States that this commission voted on and decided to give that award to. So we're very proud of the people that we've had selected for this award. There's 4 awards possible annually, and only 2 were awarded this year. The first is in best performance in hot air balloons for the previous year. Then you have best performance for gas balloons, Rosier, and then one for contribution. But as far as for the hot air diploma this year, Johnny Petrin was an exceptional pilot. Did an amazing job. He not only won the World Championships this year, that's his second Worlds. He also won in Motegi a few years back. He flew 19 tasks with an average of 812 points per task. For all you competitors out there, you know that that's an exceptionally high number when you're competing against those sort of people. He has been a top 5 at World Hot Air Championships also, and he has placed top 5 places in the United States Nationals 11 times. His competitive excellence is beyond compare to most pilots, and somebody that everyone I think looks up to, and an exceptionally nice guy as well. So I would just like Johnny to stand up and present the awards to these at other ceremonies, probably in Washington, D.C. Johnny will be the recipient of one of the NAA awards banquets, so we just want to make sure that everyone's aware of that these people have won the awards, but we don't have them in our hands at this point. The second person that we had on the list was for contribution, and he's made a tremendous amount of contributions to the sport over a number of years. Very good friend of mine, and what I wanted to do was actually read a citation. Montgolfier is also one that's a difficult award to win, and there's a lot of people that are up for it, especially within the contribution area every year, and people all over the world are very good, have the ability to get it. But he actually was up for it one other time that we put him up and didn't get it, but I thought the citation from where it came was very impressive. And the citation was, for designing and building gas and hot air balloons which have advanced the performance capability of sport ballooning and which have been used to set distance, duration, and altitude world records, for participating in all major aspects of the sport, including pilot, competition pilot, support crew, and the first solo around-the-world balloon flight, and leadership in the Balloon Federation of America. This was written by Steve Fawcett in 2007. So he recognized the abilities of this gentleman, and I think we all have. He has brought back gas ballooning in the United States with providing a low-cost, affordable system that we could all fly. Unfortunately, while he was developing this low-cost system that we could all use, the price of helium continued to jack go up, and now it's about $10,000 to $12,000 to build a balloon. So Bert tackled the problem in another way, and he decided to start building a hydrogen balloon so that we could get the cost of the balloon down again and the cost of the gas down. And he has been a strong supporter of this organization, one of the nicest guys you could ever meet, and I'd like to recognize Bert Liddell also. So that we were able to capture 2 Montgolfier diplomas from the advancements and the work of our pilots, I think, says a lot for our organization. And like I said, I know there's a lot of future Gold Gate diploma recipients here as well. The other thing that we want to recognize, and this is an area that the BFA started along with the Balloon Museum a number of years back, is that we figured we needed to have a Hall of Fame, because there gets to a point where your contributions are so great and so beyond anything that we could imagine that there's no other way to recognize these people other than to put them in a Hall of Fame so that they're forever memorialized. And it's a joint project in between the Balloon Museum in Indianola and the BFA board is selecting these people. And anytime that the names are on there, everybody recognizes them. They're the people that have definitely defined our sport, made it happen, have set records and contributed in ways that if they hadn't, a lot of us wouldn't be here. Past recipients include Sid Cutter, Ed Yost, Malcolm Forbes, Carl Steffen, Jim Winker, I know is in the room, Joe. We've had just a tremendous amount of people in there that any name would be recognized in this room, I guarantee you that. But the induction ceremony is actually going to be on July 31st this year. It's during the National Balloon Classic. They put on a very nice event at the National Balloon Museum, and I encourage everybody to come attend that event, because it will be a spectacular event. I came up last year and was very impressed by the event, and I'm sure you would be as well. But for this year, we had 3 people that we're going to be inducting into the Hall of Fame. Like I said, these are all names you'll recognize. I don't think anybody would question that their need to be in this Hall of Fame. The first one is Ben Abruzzo. Ben, obviously, his most famous flight, the one that sticks out in everyone's mind, is making the first crossing of the Atlantic with Maxie Anderson and Larry Newman. They took on a challenge that people weren't even sure could be attained at that time, and they almost died in trying at one point to cross the year before. But the crossing of the Atlantic was only one of the many things that Ben did for the sport. He was one of the first pilots in Albuquerque. He was an adventurer, a great businessman, and wanted to take things to another level. And he definitely did with the transatlantic flight, and for most people that would be kind of an end-all to the thing, and say, yeah, I'll take the glory, I was on Newsweek, Sports Illustrated, whatever. But these guys wanted to continue to push. And Ben went on to fly across the Pacific, making that first flight as well, with Rocky Aoki, Ron Clark, and Larry Newman. So he competed in gas balloons, competed in hot air balloons, definitely left an indelible mark on the sport, and for that we're putting Ben Abruzzo into the Hall of Fame this year. Two names are kind of, they go together. You can't have Ben Abruzzo without saying Maxie Anderson. And even though that one flight that they made across the Atlantic put them in the history books and in everyone's mind, they both set off and did their own things as well after that flight. Maxie went on to be the first to make a transcontinental balloon flight in the Kitty Hawk, flying from California up into Quebec, which was a tremendous flight along with his son Chris Anderson. And he later hooked up with Don Ida, who right there is in Indianola, by the way, on the picture. And they hooked up to try the next great challenge, which was to try to fly a balloon around the world. And so one of the earliest attempts on seriously trying to go around the world was the Jules Verne, and they had taken off and flown from Egypt into India, I believe. Unfortunately, both Ben and Maxie died prematurely before I think all their dreams could have been fulfilled, and I think they would have continued to set more records as well. So with that, we are also inducting Maxie Anderson. Well, since we wanted somebody that was alive, we had to get somebody else to fly too. We have to have somebody come to the ceremony. And we definitely have the right person for that. Another historical figure in gas ballooning, hot air ballooning, event organization. Another person that's done so much for us was Dewey Reinhardt. Dewey was another one attempting to be the first one to fly across the Atlantic before anybody else could do it. He put together a team, obviously another balloon that was built by Ed Yost. And one of the things that I think is kind of interesting about this is once Dewey, Ben, and Maxie are in there, we have all the guys that flew the silver and black balloons in our Hall of Fame. And they really are pioneers. And they're the guys that deserve to be there. But Dewey, he took off on a very adventurous flight. Right after Ben and Maxie had made an attempt in 1977 to be the first, they went down in a horrific storm that, you know, they had hypothermia, didn't know if they'd lived through it, high seas, and Dewey's sitting there thinking, well, I can do it if they can't, and he took off a month later, and it had to be in the back of his mind the whole time that I hope this tragedy doesn't fall on me as well. So the bravery was absolutely amazing. But Dewey has been around in organizing the Pikes Peak balloon race. Part of one of the founding members. He's been a pilot since 1966. Got his balloon rating just a few years prior to attempting the Atlantic. And he has competed in many world events, many world championships. I was honored to fly with him on my first world event, I think back in 1987, that we teamed up together. Although when I read the resume, I didn't need to be reminded we finished last. So. But it was a great flight, definitely one of the most memorable flights of my career. I was very honored to be able to be in the basket with him. But Dewey will be inducted, and I'm sure Dewey will be planning on attending the Hall of Fame induction, and I would like to recognize Dewey. Please stand up. With that, now we're going to go on to some awards that we actually do have. I've got 2 awards behind me that will be presented. The Shields Trogger is the highest honor that we can give to a member of the BFA. For a member that's had an outstanding flight, has contributed highly to the science of the sport, anything that's notable, and it's a board decision. And it's another one of those awards, just like the Montgolfier Award, that doesn't have to be given. There's been many years that we haven't given one because we haven't found any worthy candidates. So it's a very prestigious list to be on. And this year, we actually had 2 that came to our attention that we said needed to be recognized, and we were able to award up to 3 Shields Troggers annually. We've never awarded more than 2, and that's only happened on a couple of occasions in the BFA history. But the Shields Trogger is an award that we're proud to give, and one of the things that we all deal with is, as balloonists is weather. There's nothing we can do about the weather. We have to deal with whatever we're dealt. And we can choose not to fly, we can choose to fly, but we have to work with whatever we're given. And to me, a meteorologist is the person that is going to keep you out of the trouble. And the person that we're looking at today has kept me out of trouble many, many times. He's supported so many world records, not only for myself, but Kevin Uliassi, Rich Jaworski. You've got Steve Fawcett. He made the first Trans-Pacific solo flight he provided the meteorology for. I can go on and on. He's got a master's in meteorology. He's a hot air balloon pilot, has been for a number of years. He also, not only that, for the BFA, he ran our nationals as the meteorologist for many, many times at the U.S. Nationals, at the team nationals, at the World Championships. I could go on and on. Thousands of briefings that a lot of you have probably sat in listening to this guy, and I honestly would trust him with my life. And when he says it's a go, it's a go. If he says don't do it, I won't go. And I was kind of talking to him a little bit earlier today, and I'm attempting a Trans-Pacific flight, and we were in Japan a couple of years ago, and a Japanese gentleman was trying at the same time, Michio Kanda, and Michio called up, said he was going to be flying near Tokyo, taking off, and then they canceled again. And I was on a train on my way from Saga up to Tokyo. And then 2 days later, another call. Michio's going tonight. And so I'm on the train on the way up to Tokyo from Saga, and I've got Lou on the phone, and I said, Lou, what the hell? These guys have 2 windows in 1 week, and we don't have any? And he said, I don't know what they're seeing. They're flying into some really bad stuff. And unfortunately, the end result of that flight was that Michio did end up getting struck by lightning and killed. And so if you have a good meteorologist, listen to him. And this guy is one of the best in the world. Without a doubt, he's supported so many efforts, and he's so excited about the balloons. Lou Balonis, a very good friend. I thank you for all you've done for me, all you've done for ballooning in the BFA. And for that, we have the Shields Charter for you, and we'd love for you to come up and say a few words about it.
Well, thank you very much, everybody. That's a beautiful award. I guess I should start first by apologizing for all the bad forecasts. That's done now. I do want to say thank you very much to all those that made this award possible for me. I also, this will be short, I want to recognize people, the 2 most important people that got me started in ballooning, first for hot air and then gas, and that is Bob Rice and Charlie Cook. So if you remember any of those, I built on top of them. And of course I know a few more meteorologists that are coming along behind me, so you're in good hands. So I want to say thank you very much. Thank you.
As far as I know, I'm pretty sure I know this pretty well, for Shields Troggers, on Gold PAs, anything else, Lou is the first meteorologist to receive this award, anything of that high of a caliber, and he's very deserving of it. He's kept a lot of people alive. Like I tell everyone, it's actually Lou's flights that I go out and do. I'm just the guinea pig in the basket. So, with that, we have one more that we're going to discuss, and this is a gentleman that everyone is very familiar with, and we're going to hear a lot more from later this evening. Colonel Joe Kittinger is a remarkable man, has made remarkable flights. He's been to the stratosphere 5 times. I can't imagine going once, and that he continued to go up there as a test subject as well. And not only to go up there, but to jump when you're there. And so far, that's a record that nobody's been able to go out there and beat. He was a test pilot. If any of you have not read his book, I highly recommend it. I just finished it, and not only his ballooning career, but his military career is just a thing that you want your children to read and to see what a true American is about. And I can't imagine that anyone has served their country better than Colonel Joe. And he not only did the stuff that was for military and space applications that furthered our sport, he's also a true adventurer who went out there. And there again, once that Atlantic had been conquered, he said, no, it's still a challenge that I want to try to take on, but I want to do it solo. And he was able to take a balloon in 1984, going across the Atlantic and setting a new distance record for that size and category of balloon, which still stands today. A remarkable feat back then that I can't imagine that he was willing to try even after it had been done, because it's like, I'm not the first, no, I'm going to be the first solo. And what an incredible flight. He took the distance records way out there, and like I said, it still stands today. Most of us can't imagine the life that he's led. but to actually be on the cover of Life magazine, his wife Sherry always by his side. I'm so proud to be able to say that Colonel Joe has now taken the highest honor in the BFA, also the Shields Trotter Award, and I'd love Joe to come up and say a few words, and then we're going to hear more from him tonight as well.
That's the one thing that I heard a long time ago, that the best lover there is a weatherman. I said, I can't figure out what in the world is. And the reason is because a weatherman can look into a girl's eye and tell weather.